Hello, I am Yogini Sunita, and this is Meditation, Yoga, and Stuff podcast. I believe my dharma or my life's purpose is to share my understanding of meditation, yoga, and Ayurveda, holistic healing science of India. I make these amazing wisdoms accessible and adaptable for present times. So let's start. Hello and welcome to the podcast. Today's topic is about relationship. And when I say relationship, what comes first thing in your mind? Is someone's image came into your mind? What is it regarding for you? So now the question arises that why this image was important, what kind of image it was. So how our brain works and how we are designed from childhood. And I'm using word design here because of the sanskaras or the concept, how we process the information happening around us. So let me explain about this processing of these mental image you just had. For example, if some loved one's image came in front of you, in your mind's eye, or relationship, maybe someone else's relationship came into your mind. This is all deep rooted into our thought process. Now, what happens that any given moment, what we are experiencing in this world, can process only little bit information out of 100% of information given to us. So, for example, from our sensory receptors, all our senses, we receive the information about this particular relationship, right? Maybe it is happening or experience we are having. But our brain can process and store only so much. So we may store 5 or to 10% of that information only. And this is how we deal with situations. This is how our brain makes sense of situations around us. So what happens that we are then remembering only 5 to 10% of the experiences we have in relation to the person or the situation. And from childhood, what we see relationships around us, we kind of like try to mirror them. It becomes our normal, okay? So, for example, if from childhood, if there is abusive relationship, we unknowingly replicate that similar abusive relationship situation into our life because that's our normal. Even though we don't want to, we still feel familiar with it, and that familiarity is because of that we repeating our experience and almost tapping into that familiarity of abuse here. Similarly, if you have this image that how the relationship should be, looking at, say, movies or reading books, or the concept of, say, for example, soulmate, things like that can then create its house in our mind, and we weave story around it. And if that is not satisfied, then that the castle we have built around it, it just falls down because it's not real. We build it in the air, in the sky, where there is no truth about that particular concept. Having said that, we also sometimes feel a deep pull towards someone, and that could scare us and we run away from that. That also happens. Or sometimes then when we have enough understanding or understand the strength behind that love, then these situations our mind create doesn't matter. Everything is, we drop that and we completely unconditionally love. So all this is us being human being. Now, what's happening with this pandemic now, that our life has changed so much that it has tasted our capacity of being patient in the relationship, because we're constantly together. Slowly doors opening now, and we're going out in the world, and we are again reinventing our relationship with the world now. So all this is happening, and it's almost like all humanity had this a pause, a break, where you had to stop and move away from our normal to this new normal, which was quite daunting. There is still a lot of uncertainty in the air, and all this is creating so much a drama in the mind, because how our mind thrives is we need some certainty and some uncertainty, and this is due to because we have this reptilian brain which needs that security, that needs safety, that it needs that certainty that, okay, I have a roof over my head, I'm going to sleep safely in my house today, and things like that. It's like these are, even though it feels like very simple, it is very important to feel that. If not, then everything is shaken. And then another layer we have in our brain, which is our almost like a creative brain, we can call it, which needs that challenge. It needs that regular uncertainty. And if we don't have balance of that, yoga means balance, yoga of that, of certainty and uncertainty, then we kind of like lose that balance, and everything becomes uncertain or too certain, and that also is not good for our brain, for our whole emotional health situation as well. Now, on top of that, I'm going to talk a little bit about yoga's understanding of yoga philosophy's understanding of the relationship, our relationship with the world around us, and how we behave in relation to the chakras. Now, I know some of you must have already rolled their eyes when I said chakras. I know this word has been beaten up like crazy. There are a lot of woo-woo things there out there in this world in relation to chakras. I'm going to really talk about it in a very practical sense. And this, hopefully this will help you understand how yogis understood the human energy system, and also our relationship with people around us in that as well. And I will also talk about Ayurveda's approach, which is again quite fascinating. So, for example, so let's, if you don't believe in yoga philosophy, that's all right. Let's assume that we all believe in yoga philosophy today. And in yoga philosophy, it is believed that we are made out of energy. And so those who are a little bit skeptical, I'm going to talk about, like, science also backs this up. It's the smallest particle of the universe is made out of stillness and vibration. Center of it is stillness, and it's surrounded by vibration. If you see say for example, if you take atom, the center of atom is nucleus, is proton, neutron, and surrounding electrons vibrating around it in certain pattern. And that creates the shape. This is how the structure of this small particle of universe is. And that tells us that there is stillness and movement. So yogis call it Shiva Shakti. The Tantric people, Tantra tradition call it Shiva Shakti. Yoga call it Purusha Prakriti. Whatever you want to call it, goddess energy and divine masculine, divine feminine energy, god and goddess energy, whatever you want to call it. But this is our creation. We are made out of vibration. All right. So okay, we are made out of vibration. Where is the chakra coming from? So if we assume that we're made out of vibration, that means there are energy channels in and around our body. And the sages in their meditation sense these channels, and they individually name these channels. And there are 72,000 nadis, or the energy channels in our system. Obviously, so many energy channels are going to meet somewhere, right? So where they strongly meet, where they meet is where the reservoir of energy happens, and physically also the manifestation of important organs around that area. Out of these, the 7 chakras aligning with our spine. So the base chakra is about base, the foundation. It's about how we need a really strong foundation to live in this world. So what is this foundation is in relation to? So the foundation is in relation to how roof over our head, how we feeling safe. It's all about that safety, in relationships, safety in the house we are staying. So if that is not secure, if we are not in a grown up in loved relationship, there is always fear that we might get a big slap on the head if we don't behave right. All this is going to create a lot of fear in this area. So the fear is the demon in this, in relation to this chakra. So our fearful nature, especially unnecessary fear, or maybe necessary fear to protect ourselves, comes from this chakra. So when we balance this energy level, then we feel strong, safe in ourselves, as well as safe in the relationships around us, safe in the place where we live. So all this creates that safety. Financial safety also comes under this chakra. So we need to understand that, to have really strong relationship, we need to feel safe in relationship. We need to feel supported in the relationship. We need to have partnership in the relationship. Now, this is in any relationship, even though parent and child, that has to be give and take of that love, compassion, respect, mutual respect. All this has to be there. This is the foundation of any relationship, the safety in that sense. There should not be any fear of speaking your truth in the relationship. So this is very important. Now let's look at the relationship from the next chakra, where it's in relation to our sensual expression. So we are, as a human being, a sensual being. Our creation happens because of two beings coming together. So it is very important to understand that if we suppress our sensuality, it is going to manifest as some sort of issue in our energy system. So healthy sensuality is very important. So what is that? Again, feeling safe in that relationship, your true expression of your love, your complete devotion, as well as surrender, as well as pure give and take of love and compassion and true partnership, where you are really caring towards the people around you, especially the person you are sensually involved with. Really both communication as well as devotion and love needs to be there, and that creates that beautiful give and take of the relationship where your true partner in this relationship, and you can cultivate this is cultivable. All these is possible when we really are present for the person. Then it is possible to really understand what's happening and truly connecting with them. Now we move upwards towards our next chakra, which is in relation to the passion. And this is the passion, the drive. And sorry, let me go back to the second chakra again in relation to that give and take happening, where we also need to also, the demon here is basically not connecting or isolating ourselves, or also or going so much overboard that we are burning out. So just be mindful that the connection, strong connection with each other, a true connection where there is also communication happening is important. Okay, so let's come back to the chakra, which is in relation to passion. Everyone needs to have a positive passion in their life, something that that they can thrive on. And what if this passion is about something to do with the betterment of society? So this kind of like any kind of passion which really helps you to wake up in the morning and face the world doing that job. That is what we need in our life, to have that sense of purpose. So sense of purpose is in here. If we do not understand our sense of purpose correctly and we go towards the monetary purposes, unnecessarily, burning ourselves, that's what happens. If we, and I'm not saying that monetary purposes are wrong or right, I'm not saying that at all, because human evolution needed that to understand what is necessary. But this purpose is usually more than our selfish purpose. It is more than just to betterment for ourselves, but it is also for betterment of our society. So that's what this chakra is about. And its demon is burning out, like, too much or too little. Too much, you're burning out. Too little, you're dampening all your desires and you're still burning out from within. So that's what happens here. And so we need to have a positive relationship with our work. That's what this, in relation to the work, this chakra is about. Now we move upwards towards the heart center. Heart center is where, this is what makes us human. This is the chakra which is really about connection. And this is where as a human being can connect with the world around us through this beautiful heart center. And we know this subconsciously. You can see all our movies talk about, about that, like the poems, the stories, everything is about this, our connection with the world, about the heart. So the heart center is where we also say, use expression, I felt like my heart expanded, when I'm meeting someone, or the heart fluttering. All these things is in relation to, sensing that emotions of love and compassion. So that's what this chakra is about. And its demon is sadness. When we do not act on or listen to our heart, then it creates a lot of sadness in our life. So the sadness and is in this, it's very connected with this chakra. Now let's move towards our next one, which is our throat center, where when we do not speak our truth and we do not speak it from our heart, then this is feels choked up. We almost feel that we are not saying our truth, and there may be a lot of unnecessary babble in this chakra when it is imbalanced, like gossiping and things like that. Or there may be almost people shy, they do not speak. So that's what's happening. So either or, balance or excess, it works like that. And when we do not speak our truth, what's going to happen? So that throat-related issues, we do not know how to speak our truth, because if we don't understand what is in our heart, how will we speak our truth? So that's how it works. So what is necessary is try to understand what is it we want, and how many of us really know what is it we want. And sometimes we think that what we want, but in reality, when we achieve it, we realize that, this is not what I was expecting to feel. It doesn't feel fulfilling. So what is it we want is also another important quest, which is in relation to balancing all the chakras. It also matters what is it we want. And when we go deeper and deeper in what is it truly we want, we start realizing our true purpose. And then when we speak this truth from our heart place of this truth is so strong that you do not need to raise your voice to speak this truth. You do not need to feel uncomfortable to say this truth, because it is truth, it is important. Also, when we are speaking from heart, then we are also aware of not hurting other while speaking the truth. So we find that balance of speaking our truth without hurting others. So that is really important. And this is in relationship, again, building our relationships around us. But when we speak our truth and when we are so still in ourselves, and when we speak our truth, that is going to create so much strong, positive energy around us, that people know that we are not lying to them, we are telling the truth in positive sense without hurting them. That's going to build up the relationships so strong that nothing can shake it. And then the next chakra is the Adna Chakra, which is also called third eye sometimes. And that's the intuition. This is where the people around us, when we start observing, we start noticing what they really want. And we start giving that to them, that connection is so strong now that we connect with them. We also understand them energetically. And that is the intuition that comes with this relationship. So it's a very strong, deep relationship. And in the couple's relationship, it's not just the physical relationship, it is also physical, mental, emotional relationship. So it's a very powerful experience when we start tuning in so deeply with each other, that relationship can take us quite. It's a different level of relationship. That's a true connection. And then comes the chakra, which is the higher level chakra. Again, it's Sahasrara chakra, it's called. It has 1,000 petals. And this is where, when we are in union with someone, that deep union, then we realize that you and I are one, because we are all this divine light. So this divinity that is within us, we acknowledge that and we connect with that. So this divinity, when we see the person, people around us, when we see our loved ones, as well as not who are not our loved ones, maybe they're still the divine beings, the manifestation of divine. So that comes from this chakra. And when we bring this understanding into our day-to-day life, into our relationships, we can take our relationships to next level. Now, some of you may say that, nothing comes up when I'm fighting with someone, all comes up is anger. But notice where the root of this anger is. Is it truly yours, or is it coming from your stories your mind has told you, or your previous experiences? What is happening? And can you forgive? Now you may say that, I don't want to forgive. I want to hold on to this grudge. What's going to happen is it's going to burn you out. Maybe nothing will happen to the person, or maybe some harm will come to the person in front you want to bring harm, but a lot of harm will come to you as well. And so tune into that. Notice that, can we let go of that kind of emotions? When we are looking at relationships from these all layers and try to understand it, we almost take a step back and look at the relationship from a third person's perspective. And we start noticing that, okay, this can be better. I can change this, or this can be added. We can spice up the relationship with this, or we can reduce the spice here, things like that. All these things can be doable when we take a step back and notice. And this notice and this observation, if you meditate with your partner, you will notice that the relationship becomes more deeper. So start noticing that, start connecting with that. If you don't meditate with your partner, have the activities which are going to bring you together, really, really positively together, and start tuning into your reaction, their reactions, bring all this wisdom and love into your relationship. We are really a hodgepodge of a lot of emotions and a lot of things happening. We human beings are very complicated. At the same time, we are fascinating. So bring that curiosity and fascination in your relationship. And you will notice that you will thrive in relationship. It's always work in progress. We are not enlightened. If we were enlightened, then there is no issue in the relationship. So it's a work in progress. And sometimes on this path, we have to let go of some relationships because we realize that they're not going to work. And sometimes we have to put more work into it. So notice what is it that is necessary. What is it you want in your life? First start there, and from there you can work on the relationships. I hope that this podcast helps you to understand that. I'm also going to briefly talk about Ayurveda's understanding, which is fascinating. I think it will take one more podcast just on that. So Ayurveda is fascinating. Ayurveda talks about, Ayurveda is healing science of India. And according to Ayurveda, we have certain constitutions in our system. So we may have Vata, Pitta, or Kapha. Now, don't let the names baffle you. It doesn't matter. Let's look at it from other point of view. So let's look at it. What is Vata? Vata means which has more. It's a lightness in this personality, which has more air and space component in it. Pitta is fire and water component in it, and then Kapha is the water and earth component in it. So you will notice that in around us, you will find that some people are naturally light build. Some people are naturally too talkative. And they have personality where they are like whirlwind. They will come in. They like moving fast, talking fast. Everything is fast. They may be lightweight, have dry skin. Everything is dry. That's Vata personality. Then Pitta personality is the person who is a fiery type A kind of personality. Everything is very intelligent. Everything is challenged. They are natural leaders. That's what Pitta is. And then Kapha is very sturdy. Kapha. For them it takes a little bit time to understand, but once they understand, they are absolutely fantastic. They have really good memory, and they are very they can have strong physique. So that's what naturally, maybe double bone, we can call it like that kind of thing. So little bit heavier bones can be Kapha. And so you will see that these trends are there. Sometimes you see that there is combination of the doshas where Vata Pitta combine, or Vata Kapha combine, or other way around. So it could be combination. Some people have all three doshas. And what happens that the person with say Vata dosha, who is like fast moving, everything is fast, they have wild imagination. They're moving from one thought to other thought really fast, and there are a lot of imagination, lot of ideas, and 100 ideas are thrown at you at once. And this type of person may be in relationship with a Kapha person who needs time to understand, slows down, and then, and they're trying to understand the Vata person, like, oh my God, what's happening here? This person is moving too fast for me, or throwing ideas. And what happened to that idea they were just talking about? What subject are we on? What's happening? So can you see that could happen very easily? So there will lack of understanding. So Pitta person maybe understand Vata person's ideas and all that, and they may take one idea which is really nice and they can make it happen. That's the Pitta personality. But having said that, Pitta person will not understand the whole hairy-fairy ideas which Vata has, things like that. And then Vata person doesn't understand why these two doshas don't understand me. Now, the flowery language and things like that, Pitta person roll their eyes. They're like, give me facts and figures. Give me knowledge, give me wisdom. I will make sense of that. I will make it happen. But don't give me flowery stuff. Whereas, and imagine this person is in relationship with, say, Kapha person who is all about feeling and sensing, and or maybe they're in relationship with Vata person who is talking about imaginary worlds and things like that. The Pitta person will have like roll their eyes and they're like, oh, come back to earth. Tell me facts and figures. Do you see what's happening? Or Pitta person will say to Kapha person, if they're too emotional, come on, no more waterworks, enough. I can't deal with this, Or Kapha person can be very stubborn or can be very emotional. And the other two doshas may not understand that, they need time to process, they need time to understand situations. Also, when they understand, they are very true to the books. They will tell you each and every rule book, which is for Vata person, any irregularity is not possible, whereas Kapha person, everything is regularity. So all this is happening in our system. I will do a full podcast on this Vata Pitta Kapha thing and relationship in that sense. So all this is happening where if we understand our partner's dosha, we can be very, very, we can understand where they're coming from, and then from that place we can be cultivate our relationship on a very deep level. So where do we find what dosha we are? You can do the dosha quiz, but sometimes people have told me that they got even more confused with the dosha quiz, because every dosha quiz gave them different answer. So I suggest in that case you can go to Ayurvedic consult, where they can maybe do your pulse, or you can nowadays via Zoom you can do the Ayurveda consultation. You can find out what dosha you are and what dosha your partner is, and you can understand them better. I also do that, the dosha help you to find out dosha, and also I can tell you what's happening in relationship, and we can do a mentoring session in that sense. So I can guide couples in their relationship, and that really is quite helpful for people. So feel free to connect me via my website. So I hope today's talk on relationship helped you a little bit. And I did this because Valentine's Day is nearby, and this will be published near Valentine's Day. So I hope that this helps you to deepen your relationship, understand yourself as well as relationship with others, because we need to deepen our relationship with ourselves first. We need to understand ourselves first. Then we can give more to others. So tune inwards first via meditation or any way you can sense. And then make sure that, you're listening to your partner. You are there for them. Not just your partner, but any relationship in your life. If you give your 100% attention in that moment, the quality time with them, you can go quite deep into the relationship. So I hope that this helps. Thank you very much for tuning in. Bye for now. Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate that you're taking this time out of your day. Don't forget to subscribe. Take care. Bye for now.